Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I know I have been MIA here lately. My allergies are absolutely killing me, so I'm sorry if I don't talk very clearly. I'm gonna try to get through this video, but today we are going to talk about our pantry items and how you can put away for emergencies. Basically, long-term food storage and stuff like that. I don't have a typical pantry in this house because, as you see, this is what I'm using as my pantry. This is a huge mess, I know. I need some organization in here. But this is all stuff that, you know, we use fairly often. Just pastas and stuff like that, but this is our most used items right here. I have broth bases, and I still have quite a bit of tea put up from back when I was couponing. I still have quite a bit of stored food from that. Have things like this, lentils and stuff like that, popcorn. We have our pasta maker right here. My husband makes pasta sometimes. I have quite a bit of food in these storage containers. We have rice, our potatoes and stuff like that. But I'm going to put some of the things on the table and explain to you why we keep this stuff on hand at all times. But yeah, that's my messy pantry. Anyways, I'll be right back. Okay, so first I'm going to start out with things that we keep on hand that we eat on a normal basis, and things like this: soy curls and TVP. We keep these and eat them regularly. And things like red lentils. We keep organic grains. These are ancient grains, so they are very nutritious compared to some of the modern day grains that you find. Almost everything that we store has a high nutrient value, so if something were to occur to where we were eating smaller amounts of this food, it would still provide us what we need from the nutrients. I have corn grits here, polenta, black-eyed peas. All of this stuff is excellent to keep on hand. I have a lot of people that say they don't know where to start, or they don't have very much money to put food back. These two things right here came from the Dollar Tree. If you could put up just a couple of bags of something every week, just spend $2 extra, you know. The pinto beans, they will last for a long time. Now, brown rice doesn't last as long as white rice does, but it does last for a very long time, especially if you store the stuff in a dry, cooler climate. And then we have, like, here's some white jasmine rice. Now white rice lasts almost indefinitely. Most of these larger bags I'm going to eventually put in Mylar bags, and I'm going to use a food saver with oxygen absorbers, and this stuff will last, like I said, almost indefinitely. I do keep the jasmine brown rice because we eat a lot of that. Like, here's one of the better deals. If you do have a Sam's card, you can get these 12-pound bags of pinto beans at Sam's, I believe, for $8 and some change. I can't remember exactly. But this would last your family for a little while. And there's different things that you put food up for. Like, we've been through some really hard times. There's been a few times my husband lost his job, and we didn't rely on government aid or anything like that to feed us. Before my husband and I ever got together, when I was diagnosed with MS, I had to be off work for a long time, and that really opened my eyes as to how little I was prepared for emergencies and things like that. I had to have help from friends and family just to be able to get by, and I didn't ever want to be in that situation again. So from that point on, I started storing food like this. And so after that, when he lost his job and things like that, we lived off of our food storage for quite a while and didn't really have to have help. Now, canned goods last for a very long time if you want to put things like that up. This is what most people are going to have in their pantries for food storage. And they always have a best buy date on the can. This one says 2020. Best buy dates aren't the same thing as expiration dates. A best buy date with most regular food, it's good for at least 2 years, up to 2 years after the best buy date. But with cans, it's just as long as that can looks good and you can see the lid isn't puffy, there's no rust or anything. As long as all those things look good on the can, 90% of the time the food inside of it is just fine. Okay, and then we move on to other ways of food storage. Now this is more like if a natural disaster happens or just anything that's completely out of our control that, you know, that may affect the way people can get food. These, I actually purchased these through Walmart.com. I have been putting stuff up like this for a little while. Of course, this isn't all of my food storage, but we keep some in different places just in case something does happen. But with us living on the New Madrid, you never know when that fault line's going to go, and a lot of people don't ever think about that, but it does make me worry, especially since earthquakes seem to have increased all over the place recently. But like these two things right here are more affordable through the Augustin Farms, and these pails like this have a 30-year shelf life. That's if it's stored correctly. You want to keep it preferably below 70 degrees or below, and definitely dry. But you can keep this in your home or a climate cooled storage unit, something like that, or at a secondary home. But there's 90 servings in here of the rolled oats. I try to pick things, like I said, that have high nutrient value. I think this was $14 and something, and then this other one over here, that is hard white wheat, that we can put through a grain mill and make fresh pasta or fresh bread with that. We can make our flours out of that. And with the white wheat and the hard red wheat and things like that, you actually end up with more product after you put it through the grain mill. So it's better just to store it in its original form like that. Okay, and then back to the canned goods for a minute. Now, I don't eat meat right now, but if there was a huge catastrophe in the United States and we got down to where we did not have any food at all, you bet we would definitely eat chicken breast or anything that was like that. Anything that's has any nutrients in it. Definitely, I'm not going to let my my child or my family started as. And that's with most people. Augustin Farms also has these number 10 cans. These are the large cans. These have like a 25-year shelf life on these if they're stored correctly. And they have almost anything that you would want. And we actually have used quite a bit of this food from this brand just to see what it's like and test it out, and it actually is really good food. It tastes good. You would not know it's survival food. And then there's other ways to store things like home canning. This is a very efficient way to store your food, especially if you have a garden. And then there's dehydration. This is some chili peppers out of our garden from last year. And I'll show you guys how to do all this stuff if you would like to know. Water is something so important that a lot of people don't think about. You can only survive 3 days without water. And if it was a huge natural disaster like, say, an earthquake, those water lines probably aren't going to be working. And in that sense, we also have a life straw. This removes bacteria and contaminants. You can drink directly out of a pond or a stream with this. This could save your life someday. And you can get that on Amazon. This big thing of water, you can get that at Sam's Club for $4.98. It's not a bad deal for those. And then there's other things like you might want to put up just in case, like I said, if it was a huge emergency. You can buy antibiotics like this, and it's actually fish antibiotics, but they're also human grade. You can buy these on places like eBay and sometimes Amazon. But of course, if it wasn't a natural disaster or something like that, you don't really want to take those without a doctor's advice. Definitely it's good to have like an informative book to tell you prescriptions and things like that you can read up on it, even in an emergency. But something like that, if it was really bad, could end up saving your life. But that's pretty much all I wanted to show you guys on this video. But definitely I would suggest going into your pantry, checking out what you have in there. Just give yourself an example of, what if we lost power for a week and for some reason you couldn't get to the store, or say the shelves are empty at the store. Would you have enough in your pantry for your family to survive? Let's just set the goal at 7 days. Would you have enough food in your pantry for every family member in your household to live off of for 7 days? Could you make enough meals out of what you have for 7 days? A lot of people don't keep that much food on hand. And like I said, it doesn't have to be a natural disaster. It could be anything like losing your job. There's a lot of things that could happen. Illness. You don't think about things like cancer, or like I have multiple sclerosis. I didn't see that coming. Or heart issues, anything like that. You don't see a lot of emergencies coming when they do. But like putting food up like this, it's not hurting you. The only thing it's going to cost you is a little bit of extra money and some storage space, but it makes you feel so much better knowing that you can feed your family, that you have these things for emergencies. Like, I know this food wouldn't last us forever, but it would last a good while. And I like knowing that I can feed my son and my husband and myself if something does happen. But definitely I would like to hear back from you if you've done this challenge, to know if you had that 7 days worth of food. If you need any help or advice, I'm here for you. I urge everyone to try to at least put back some food for emergencies. But I hope this helped, and I will probably have another video for you soon. I'm sorry it's been so long. Like I said, I haven't been feeling very well. Springtime is really hard on me with allergies and things like that. That's actually usually when I get a cold. I make it through winter just fine. But anyways, I'll catch you guys soon, and love you all. Bye-bye.